the thing that it struck me is just the profound sadness that he just came to the conclusion, which in his mind is just unwavering, the conclusion that the only way out of the way he was feeling, forget about feeling physically, feeling mentally, the only way out was to get out of football, and how difficult that must have been. Can you, for fans who are still to this day confused as to how that could happen, can you give voice to having spoken to him and having played the position as you did for 18 years professionally? How does that happen?
Well, I think there actually are a lot of guys that walk away like that. Maybe not the caliber, the Hall of Fame caliber of an Andrew Luck, so we don't hear about them in the news. They don't show up on the ticker. But like I said, a lot of things go into it. Sometimes it's, you have your identity is sort of wrapped up in who you are as a football player, what the score on the scoreboard is, what the stats are on the sheet. And sometimes that can get taken away from you, whether it's injury or whatever, and you feel a little lost. You feel isolated from the team, especially guys that go on IR. They feel isolated from the team. They feel like they're not plugged in. And, I think of Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski had an announcement in New York City, and we all think of Rob Gronkowski as like a really fun, energetic kind of guy. And he mentioned the fact that, hey, physically, I could play, but mentally and emotionally, and he got choked up. And I've been there. I've been there. The end of 2015 was the year that I retired, and I knew that the injuries that I had weren't serious enough that I couldn't come back from them, but mentally it wasn't in a place where I could commit 100% to my teammates and being all the way back. And I think my feeling is that Andrew Luck is somewhere in there, and where he feels like, you know what, I don't know if I have 100% to give to everybody. And he's not the kind of guy that would ever be able to look himself in the mirror if he was giving 85% or 90%. He's a guy that would have to give 100%. I played with a guy named Walter Jones in Seattle, one of the greatest football players of all time, quiet guy, offensive lineman. Maybe people don't know a lot about him, but he retired because he wasn't able to play at the standard that he had set for himself, which was one of the great players of all time at that position. And it was a head scratcher to a lot of people, but if you knew Walter Jones, it wasn't a head scratcher. And I think in the same way, if you know Andrew Luck, he's got to be all in. And whatever he was dealing with this latest injury with a lot of pain, if he was told, hey, listen, you could do this, but you might be able to practice once a week or twice a week, I don't think that's a solution for him that works.
Yeah, I know. And it's important that Gronk said what he said, Matt, because, Gronk's not known as an overthinker like, say, Luck is. And I don't want for this to come out of it saying that NFL fans or NFL scouts just say stay away from the overthinkers and smart guys, as opposed to let's pay attention more to the mental aspect of this game and help everybody out, whether it is some form of a CBD to help with rehab or to help mentally. If it is marijuana, I'm serious. We need to start thinking about the mental aspect of this game and look at Luck's retirement that way and Gronk's statement that way, as opposed to penalizing the so-called smart guys.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that happens is there's an old school culture in football where if a guy is hurt and not practicing, the coach won't even acknowledge your existence. They'll walk right by you and not say hi to you because you're not practicing that day. There's some of that, and we've gotten better in the football community that way. But there is a feeling of isolation when you get away from the team, when you're not plugged into the team. And I thought, to me, the most telling part of the Andrew Luck press conference was when he was open and honest and vulnerable about what his feelings were towards Jacoby Brissett, one of his good friends. He's saying, I was very, very jealous of Jacoby Brissett, the guy who was, the fun-loving, teammate and starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts when I wasn't able to be, and I didn't like, the person that I was feeling that way. And there's just a lot to that, not feeling part of the team. And I don't know. I guess I'm agreeing with you, but also saying that there's such a mental component to being an NFL football player where you have to almost you got to be all in, just like you have to be physically.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.